Lee Summit is your destination for big city vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. I'm Laura Ingeman, and this is your flash briefing for the week of October 14th. City Council meet for regular session Tuesday night, 6 in Council Chambers and City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watch live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. The city invites the public to the groundbreaking of the Lee Summit Police South substation on October 25th at 2:30 p.m. at 3650 Southwest Windermere Drive. The substation is funded through the 2023 no tax increase bond and will provide basic police services, convenient reporting, and more interaction with citizens and businesses in the south area of the city. Recycle Fest is back on October 26th from 9 a.m. to noon at the city's main facility. Items accepted include license plates, cell phones, rechargeable batteries, wine corks, and even bicycles. Paper shredding will be available up to 4 grocery sacks. And Booze, Barks, and Badges will also take place October 26th in downtown Lee Summit from 9:30 to noon. Families and their pets are invited to wear costumes and be part of a parade downtown. Following the parade, trick or treat at participating businesses. Learn more at downtownls.org. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Have you ever been driving around Lee Summit and wondered what's that going to be? What's being built there? Wow, that went up fast. The Development Minute is here to help, highlighting some of the newest projects in Lee Summit, Missouri. Streets of West Pryor is getting another restaurant on the north end. Chicken Salad Chick, a southern-inspired fast casual chicken salad restaurant, will open next to 30 Hot Bar and Grill, Magic Noodle, and Nick the Greek. The restaurant will offer a variety of scratch-made chicken salads, pimento cheese, sandwiches, and more. It is set to open at the end of 2024. Summit Orchards is welcoming Salad & Go, a drive-through restaurant that specializes in salads, wraps, and breakfast. The Arizona-based restaurant sources fresh, natural ingredients for its salads, house-made dressings, and proteins. Salad & Go is set to open in spring of 2025. Summit Orchards is getting Andy's Frozen Custard. The quick-serve frozen custard-only chain offers a wide variety of custard treats like concretes, jackhammers, sundaes, splits, malts, and more. Andy's is set to open in spring of 2025. Craft Putt is coming soon to Summit Fair. The locally owned indoor mini golf bar and restaurant will feature 2 custom-designed 10-hole mini golf courses. The space will offer games, food options like tacos, burgers, and wings, and local craft brews. Craft Putt will open by the end of 2024. That's it for the Development Minute. For more about upcoming projects, visit cityofls.net.
Welcome to the Lee Summit Sign Department. We are going to walk you through our process from start to finish. We make signs as needed here. It's not like we just go out into the field and place a speed limit sign here, no parking here. Our traffic engineers, they go through and they'll do field studies. They'll send us down an engineering work order for us to go out, place new signs or remove signs as needed. Coming from the material, our blanks come in and they're just aluminum blanks. We can put our white, our red, our fluorescent yellow, green, whatever. And basically what it looks like is just that there. Throw it up into the roller. And once we got it covered, take it to our work table here, and Tim will cut the corners, cut all the access off to where it's lined up right. As far as the plotter and the software that we use, there's a street name sign there, and he's gonna go ahead and print that out on the plotter so you can see the plotter and how it operates and runs. There's standards for the height, even just on letters on the sign blank. Basically what we have on the computer there is it's pretty much set up to those, and it goes through. It's got a very small but sharp needle that goes through and cuts everything out, letter by letter. Once that's done cutting, our next stage would be bringing it over here. Currently picking out the sign letters right now. We call it weeding or picking or however you want to call it. Next, putting it on the transfer tape. Then after it's taped, we bring it over to the roller. That's where we apply it to the actual sign blank. And we'll roll it through one time just to get the air bubbles out. And the last stage is basically just taking the transfer tape off the front of it. And there's a finished product of the street name sign. We'll take you out to the field and show you our process that we go through. We're gonna go out and follow our sign guys and get something installed for you. This is where we check our underground utilities. Tim, you got AT&T?
AT&T's back here.
Evergy, Google, so we should be good to go. We normally put all of our stuff together out in the field. Then once the base is installed, we'll go ahead and put the post in there. We've come up to perfect. And that's how we do it. Simple, quick.
It's member level. Thank you, Mayor. Great presentation, Ryan. Thank you. Is there any indicator that shows, are we supporting a need?
You know, they talk about like gym rats, kids that grew up with their dads that were coaches. Like I was a city hall rat. My dad, Tom Lovell, was hired as the Parks Administrator in 1978 and spent 40 years in public service here in Lee Summit. I would go up on the weekends when he was working and I'd run around and play and do things, and I didn't know what he was doing at the time, but I just knew that was part of our weekend routine some days was to go up and hang out at City Hall. Being part of a city from a young age to now in my adult life, you reap so many benefits from that. The people you know, you care more for something that you've been a part of. My wife and I knew we wanted to raise a family. Just trying to find a community that we thought we could raise our children in, that was good to me. And it just felt like the right move as we were deciding on a city to come back to. Fortunate to have started a business in 2018. I founded Level Insurance Group, and we are a business insurance brokerage. So we help businesses procure insurance. Decided to throw our flag in the ground here in Lee Summit, and it's grown. I also have this passion for learning and curiosity, and I started a podcast series. So I really enjoy this opportunity where I sit down with business owners and tell their story and get this out to other people in hopes that maybe it betters their life and gives them some inspiration or something. It's going to be a really exciting time, and obviously this city's in my blood. My dad's been a part of it for a long time, so I'm really excited. Thank you all. A lot of people would say I was crazy, right? So why do you throw your hand up and subject yourself to going into city politics? I think, especially as I've gotten older, I just felt, maybe a civic duty, like a responsibility to say, hey, this city's been great to me. Here's a way that I can give back and take some of my skills and put them to work for the people of this city. I wanted to bring a different, maybe way of thinking and take some of my business acumen and see areas that it may apply to how we develop and grow this community and just give a different perspective. One of our biggest challenges, but also one of our biggest opportunities is how do we develop and grow this community? We don't want to grow too fast, but we want to grow at a pace that helps support, who and what we are as a community. So, we've got a lot of opportunities, whether that be through development or parks. We've got a lot of land coming on board. So I just think it's important, it's a challenge, but it's also our greatest opportunity. And so we just got to be smart how we do that. It's just asking some different questions. I'm one that, I'm not contrarian for contrarian's sake, What I am is someone will tell me something and then I want to get to that position with them by just asking thoughtful questions along the way. And then if I can get there, then I feel like we've answered everything we can to move that forward versus, hey, here's kind of how we've done it. I'm never this is how we do it, this is how we've always done it, and this is how we'll continue to do it. Office of Council Member for District 2. All of my practical experience has put me in this position to serve, and I just raised my hand and said I want to do that. For which I was elected on April 5th, 2022. I feel this obligation to carry this legacy that my dad did, my family did, and then giving my kids an environment to grow up in that makes them want to come back. My kids have started rec sports through the Parks and Recreation system, and I'm watching them play soccer on this sport field that, you know, my dad helped develop. And my dad's sitting there with me, right? I mean, that's the stuff that really matters in life.
Councilmember Rader, can you unmute?
Sorry about that. I'm here.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is approval of the agenda. Unless we have any discussion, I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I move for the approval of the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Can we get a vote, please?
Can you go, who first did that and seconded?
Faith and
believe-
Trish, I think.
Mhm.
Say that
Faith
again?
did it and Trish seconded. Faith started and
thank
Trish
you.
seconded. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll try to be better about announcing those.
No,
Okay.
it blocked me out or something. I don't know. Sorry about that. Councilmember
worries.
Hodges,
Aye.
Councilmember Rader,
Hi.
Councilmember Shields,
Aye.
and Councilmember Carlisle.
Aye.
Okay. Next item is public comments. Do we have any members of the public that are joining us today, or has anyone submitted any comments in advance?
Not that I'm aware of. How about you, Brian?
I'm not
Okay.
sure what that was. I just got kicked out, sort of.
I
Did you-
got a little pop up that the host changed, so I don't
Yeah.
know. So city clerk is host now, but I don't know what's going on. I can still
Hi,
see you guys. I
Casey.
can still hear everybody. So hopefully we're okay. Yeah, it keeps popping up. Okay, we're having minor technical difficulties today, but we're going to get through it. Sounds like we don't have any public comments, so we'll move on to our next item of business, which is 2024-6565, approval of the action letter for the August 15th, 2024 City Council Rules Committee meeting. Do we have any discussion? And if none, I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I move for the approval of the action letter for the August 15th, 2024 City Council Rules Committee meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hodges and a second by Councilmember Rader to approve the August 15th action letter. Can we get a vote, please?
Councilmember Carlisle,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodges,
Aye.
Councilmember Rader,
Aye.
and Councilmember Shields.
Aye. All right, next item is a discussion item that we're carrying forward from our previous meeting, 2024-6347, discussion of mayoral succession beyond the Mayor Pro Tempore. Brian, do you want to lead this off? I think we have a proposed ordinance based on our discussion last time.
I think he might have got kicked out again.
Okay. Well,
There he is.
Okay.
It keeps changing. Every time we can see the clerk, we can't see Brian.
It keeps kicking me out.
Brian,
So
do you want to sign out, Brian, and re-sign in as yourself instead of clerk and see if that fixes it? So I think it's fighting with the two different clerk sign-ins, maybe.
He's gone again.
And now we can't hear you.
can you hear?
There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm gonna go tell Stacy to stop trying to log in because I think that's what's happening. I keep getting kicked out as host.
Mm-hmm.
I text that to Gina as well, so hopefully.
Okay. Well,
But and the weird
fingers
thing
crossed.
is, Councilmember Shields, you have two on my screen, and
Oh, that's intentional because I'm signed in on my phone and then I sign in on the computer so I can see you and share screen and stuff.
Stacy
So-
said she wasn't logging back in, so.
Okay.
Well,
And that's
All
my bad because nobody was hosting. I called the clerk's office and she
Well-
volunteered to host it. So,
So, and just by way of explanation, Crystal has been hosting these, and it just didn't occur to me that she was gone today, and I knew she was gone, and so I was going to be hosting. So anyway, we are at the discussion of continuity of governance, I assume.
Mhm. Yeah, so the mayoral succession, which we had discussed last time, and okay, yeah, and I see you're sharing screen now.
Yep.
So Brian, do you want to lead off this discussion?
Sure. So last time we had a discussion, we looked at a number of different cities' rules in this regard. I'm trying to remember, we had Independence, Kansas City, Overland Park. We may have had another one or two. There we go. And I think it was a desire of this committee to do something that was more similar to what Independence had. That was more of a seniority-based process, as opposed to some of the other ideas were chairs of committees, some different processes. So what I drafted, and I will say this is not going to go in the standard rules section of the code. I do think it fits better under sort of the emergency preparedness provision. A number of the other cities also had it there. I think it fits better there, although it will apply more broadly than just in emergencies. So what we had written here is a little bit different. What I have written is a little bit different than what Independence had. But for purposes of determining the order of succession for the office of mayor, when the incumbent is not immediately available to act due to absence or disability, the following order of succession shall apply. Mayor Pro Tempore, which that is consistent with the charter. That's what's provided in our charter. And then the council member other than the mayor or mayor pro tem with the most seniority, the council member other than the mayor or mayor pro tem with the second highest seniority, and so forth. In cases where council members were inaugurated on the same day, the order of succession will be decided alphabetically by last name. Which is pretty similar to what Independence had, and I just realized I need a period right there. So I think this is consistent with the direction that we received last time from the group. So I'm happy to have any feedback or comments.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion? I think this reflects what I recall our discussion at our meeting prior was. So does this accurately reflect what you guys had intended?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yes, Councilmember Shields, yes. On my part, yes.
Okay. Councilmember Carlisle, I believe you were not at that prior meeting. Do you have any strong feelings about this?
No, and I went back and watched, and I agree that this is what you guys were going towards, and yes, I'm completely good with that.
Okay. My only question, Brian, is a God forbid, should we put in absence, death, or disability? That just to be clear, or does this cover us?
Well, I think absence covers the more
kind of permanent,
the more uncomfortable. And then we also have provisions about what happens if it's a permanent situation. We also already have provisions like that. This is really intended to be more for a temporary sort of situation.
Okay. Well, that's fine with me. I think it's good for us to put something like this in place. Hopefully we never have to worry about it. But if we have a huge tornado and people are out of town or unavailable, we want to make sure that we have something in place and don't have to have lawyers arguing over who's in charge. So if that is good for everybody, would we look for a motion to recommend this to council for approval, Brian, or what would you be looking for here?
Yeah, that would be fine. I did not put it in a final ordinance form, but you can certainly make the recommendation for it to go to the city council with a recommendation of approval, and we'll just put it into the form, but it will be the same language.
Okay. If that sounds good to the committee, I'd be fine with that. I think we've kind of worked through this already, so I don't know that it needs to come back to us with the official ordinance language.
Sounds good to me. I would move to send this to the city council for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Carlisle, second by Councilmember Hodges to recommend the mayoral succession language to council for approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Did we lose Gina?
Councilmember Rader,
Aye.
Councilmember Shields,
Aye.
Councilmember Carlisle, Councilmember Hodges.
Aye.
Okay, and that passes on to city council. Next item on our agenda is 2024-6425, discussion of televising boards and commissions. Councilmember Carlisle, it sounds like you may have gone back and watched the prior meeting, so you know kind of where we're at with this. We had asked staff to come back with some information about what each of the different boards and commissions do, what all they are. And so that's included in our packet, the board and commission overview. I went ahead and made a spreadsheet kind of showing the whole list of commissions and whether or not they're currently broadcast. And I was thinking that might be good just to share, so we could sort of go through them one by one and make notes on what we think ought to be done. Does that sound good to everyone?
Sure. Sounds great. Very organized.
Oh, I mean, I did this more than 15 minutes before now. I assure you. It says host has disabled screen sharing. Can I have that enabled?
Just a second here. There you go.
Okay. Okay, so you guys can see my spreadsheet. So I listed the ones that were in our ordinance as currently being broadcast and recorded. Are any of these other ones currently broadcast at all, or are they just all not? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
I don't think that any of the rest of the ones below there are broadcast.
Okay. So I have to pop that in there. Okay. So so how do you guys want to work through this? Just go through one by one. I think unless anyone has any big objections, I assume we're going to keep broadcasting council committees, planning commission, TIF commission, parks board, the ones that are currently all listed on there. I don't know that we want any changes. Does anyone have any comments to those?
I don't think we want any changes to that.
Yeah, okay. The more the merrier for me.
Okay. The task forces, I believe we don't have any of those currently. Do we need Brian, do we need any more specific language about what a task force is, or is that defined anywhere in our code, or how do we handle that?
It's not defined anywhere in our code. It's really just an ad hoc sort of designation when the council decides to create one. I mean, it could be a commission or it could be a task force. I mean, we've had groups with both of those names at different times, and
Mm-hmm.
they're usually for a specific purpose and for a limited time period.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can choose to do it or not. I am gonna.
Should we just delete that and just, if one is formed, then at the time it's formed, have the council specify whether it's recorded or not? I just feel like it's sort of vague language right now, and I don't know that it's really helpful.
I would see nothing wrong with that if that's the direction that you wanted to go.
Do we have any discussion on that item specifically? Should we keep task forces listed, or?
Chair?
Yes.
So I think if we said ad hoc committees, that would cover it better than task forces. And then I think it would be easier for us to leave it in there, because if it is an ad hoc committee, we should be recording it and broadcasting it, just like we would any of our other committees. So I would think we should just call it ad hoc instead of task force, even though they may mean the same thing to some people. But
well, my understanding was that the task force were things like the diversity and inclusion committee that met for a year, gave us a report, and then didn't meet anymore. So it wasn't a council committee, but they were formed at our direction on a temporary basis. And so I don't, if we do keep it in there, I think we should just have a definition added so that it's clear what that applies to.
Absolutely.
So do you guys want to keep it in, but add a definition?
Chair.
Yes.
I would agree with Councilman Carlisle. I'm fine with whatever you feel is the necessary verbiage to that, and then adding a definition. I think that would be great, and then we don't have to worry.
Is as to whether or not you're going to really care whether it is televised or recorded. And remember, the more things we televise and record, there's more expense, there's more time, there's a lot that kind of goes into it. Cheryl Nash just popped in. I mean, it seems to me like it would be appropriate to call it ad hoc or call it task force, whichever way you want to go on that. But I think at the time of creation, the council just needs to make a decision in the document that creates it, whether or not it's going to be recorded or videoed or what the requirement is. Like Charter Commission in previous years was recorded, just audio recording on the first one. The last one we video recorded, but I don't think they were ever broadcast anywhere. Maybe they ultimately were finally, but we've got Cheryl here now, and she can kind of tell you a little more. But as far as defining it, we certainly can define it. I do think we need to leave some flexibility for future councils, though, to determine whether or not, depending on the type of board it is or what the subject matter is, whether or not it needs to be recorded and broadcast.
And I agree with that. If we would just define it, and then in that definition say, to be decided upon, or video recording and broadcasting to be decided upon when made, or whatever, however you want to put it. I'm okay with that, but I would like to keep that in there so that way it's there, and if we do create something, and I'm not saying us as the council now, but in the future, it reminds them to say, hey, do we want this recorded? So then they don't come back, 3 meetings in and start screaming, why aren't we recording this?
Okay, so something like on a case-by-case basis, as such task force or ad hoc committee, however we put it, is formed, the council shall determine at the time of formation the matter of broadcast, if any, something like that. I trust the attorneys to come up with better language than I am, but that kind of sentiment.
That sounds good to me. Yes, thank you.
Is that acceptable to the other committee members? I think I'm seeing nods.
Yep, I agree with that. That's great.
So we're going to say add definition TBD by council at formation. Okay, and what? I think that's probably a good note to say. Let's go ahead and have a really quick discussion of what our options are in terms of broadcast, recording, and because it seems like some of that has changed a little bit. So maybe before we go into all of these other ones, Cheryl or Brian, do you want to talk a little bit about what the options are, why we might prefer one or the other, what facilities have those different capabilities, since some of these groups, it might change where they have to meet in order to meet these requirements? Is there someone who can kind of walk us through that before we go through the rest of these?
Yeah, so some of those like BOAC, they are not right today. They're not recorded or no live broadcast. But some of them, like this committee here, we do it. I think we're doing live broadcast and then recording it. But the thing is that we have to do the live broadcast. We have to be down in the council committee room. I mean, the council chambers. So we have to be down there. So Strother has the new AV is in Strother now, which is great because it's got the 2 cameras. It's got the microphone in the ceiling. That's great for sound. And in order to record that, somebody would have to record it as a Zoom meeting. And that's what Parks does today for their board meeting. So they're not live broadcast. They're recording the meeting, and then we load that up to our Legistar system, so that it's available for someone to watch.
Okay. Are any of the other committees done that way currently? Because I've put down like that the TIF commission and planning commission are live broadcast. Are those live broadcasts or just recordings?
I think Josh, are you on here? I think TIF is when we have that is a live broadcast. When we do that, it's not very often. And BOAC is not live. So really the only ones that are a live broadcast would be our city council, the planning, all the committees for the city council. And that and that's probably about it.
Well, isn't planning commission and TIF commission, because those are in chambers, are those live or are they just recordings?
Yeah, those are live. Those are live.
Okay, so council, planning, and TIF are all live. Parks is recorded. Are any of the other ones recorded currently, or no?
Was recording theirs, and then they were giving that to us to upload to the system, and then it was like, no, we don't really need that up there, so we stopped uploading that. So I don't know if they're recording it today or not.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
I would just want to say that, to add on to your discussion, that, like currently the Water Utilities Advisory Board is at the water utilities. That's where they meet. And I don't think, Cheryl, I don't think you have any kind of recording equipment there. That would be quite, I mean, it's a big committee. And then you've got all the people from water utilities there. So
and that's part of why I wanted for Cheryl to walk us through what facilities have these abilities, because before we say, hey, water utilities, you need to record and broadcast all your meetings, does that mean suddenly they have to move facilities? Is it really feasible? And what do we accomplish out of that? So I just want us to understand that.
Yeah. And so I guess what I'm saying is, just to add on to it, to be clear, is that the committees that are already, like you said, Cheryl, the Strother is a place where meetings can be recorded.
Yeah, but they're recording them using Zoom, so they have to be on a Zoom meeting, and you can do that anywhere.
Okay,
I mean, you can do that anywhere.
Well, on Zoom. Okay, so they're recorded on Zoom.
But the difference is with Strother, we've got the 2 cameras in there, so it's better for somebody that's viewing it later. When we have the meetings in council committee room, you could record that on Zoom, but before, what we've done is taken the laptop and set it at the end of the room and use the camera on the laptop. At Water, in the Maywood room, they do have cameras, I think, because the KCAV went out there and did a new setup for them. I would have to double check, but regardless, if they didn't have those, you could do it through a Zoom and record it. It just wouldn't be great, but.
And I guess the other question would be, do we know how many people watch these meetings, and how critical are wellness and cultural to being broadcasted, and some of the other, I don't know that.
Yeah, I think it's good to consider is the bang worth the buck,
Yeah, right.
Want to record these, especially if we have to have, any kind of AV person, we have to pay somebody to come and do anything, then we need to think about that as well. But yeah, we can certainly, on anything today that is recorded, we upload those to, most of those things that are broadcast, all of them are broadcast, we upload to our YouTube channel, and we can see how many views things get on there. We can also see, how long somebody watches it. Do they just is it somebody that accidentally clicked on it and then closes it, or are they actually watching the video? So,
well, do you know, like right off the top of your brain, like if you're saying the TIFF is recorded now, do you know how many? Because I don't know how many people would watch that. Maybe a lot. I don't know.
We uploaded that.
Or maybe even Parks and Rec. Oh no, they're not recorded right now.
Parks and Rec is recorded.
Oh, they
it's
are
not
recorded.
live, but not live broadcast.
Oh, not live. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I do not see that. I'd have to dig in here. I don't see the tax TIF on here on our YouTube channel. So I have to, let me look at our registrar.
Because I would think that might be a determining factor for us as to how much we want to be, well, certainly live broadcasting, because that's going to cost money, but maybe not the recordings.
Yeah, so it looks like. So when was the last time we had a TIF meeting?
It's been quite a while.
Yeah, so there's.
Well, how about, oh, well, okay. Well, people watch, I know people watch Planning Commission.
Yep. And we've got quite, I mean, a lot of views on, our city council meetings.
Oh, yeah.
And things like that.
Councilmember Carlisle, you've got a hand up. Are you wanting to chime in?
Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, I have a question. So if you go to, the website and the legislative center and where all the agendas that is, and you click on the video, does that take you out to YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's not, okay, because that's where I always watch my videos. Can we track how many people watch videos there?
We can get the number, but it's honestly, it's not accurate. We've worked with IT on that. and the numbers it gives are just crazy numbers. I mean, like
Okay.
they'll show
Well, I was
people.
gonna say, because that's where I don't ever go to the YouTube channel. I don't even think about that really. I always just go to where we get the packets and go watch the videos there. But I was also going to say that, you know, as far as live broadcasting, I don't feel like most of these need to be live broadcast. I mean, obviously council, planning commission, probably the tax increment financing, that would be nice if people could actually watch it when it's happening, because I have had people tell me they've watched it. But the rest of them, in my mind, to at least record them so that we have a record for people who do want to see it, would be good. I don't necessarily need everybody to be live broadcast, but to have a recording so that you have a clear record of what's happening would be nice in my mind. Thank you.
Okay.
Chair.
Yes.
I actually was going to say the same thing as Councilmember Carlisle. I would prefer, I feel like, again, going back to the more transparent we are with the city and community, the better. So if somebody has a question, maybe somebody randomly has a question about wellness or, I don't know, Board of Appeals, they have that option to where we can say, oh, no worries, go watch that video. Here's the link. And it's just kind of a layer of accountability and just being open with our constituents, saying, no, we've got nothing to hide. Here's what's being talked about. And if this brings up the point too, that if people have interest in these, they can pull those up and say, man, I'd like to be on that board or something like that, and spark some interest in some of those as well, being able to watch it, to say that they want to maybe even get involved by being able to see what it's about. So I think it would be great to have them all recorded. Live isn't necessary. It's just a simple Zoom that Cheryl said that she could upload would be great.
Okay. So it sounds like for some of these, that's easier to accomplish than others, the ones that are meeting, for example, in the Strother conference room. For the other ones, you're saying like someone just brings their laptop or their phone and Zooms it and records it that way. So do you feel like it's feasible? And do these all have staff liaisons? Like, is there always someone from the city who's able to coordinate that function? Because I don't expect like just your average citizen who's on this commission to be able to handle all of our IT and get those videos to where they need to go and that kind of thing. So does every one of these have a staff member present when they meet?
I think so. Brian, can you answer that question? I think everybody does.
I think they do. I can't think of one that doesn't. I think there's somebody that's assigned to each of these.
Okay. So is it going to create much additional cost or work to have somebody at least Zoom record these and get that to creative services to be able to upload?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we do that today with parks. So someone, after it's done, there's somebody that down in parks that sends that to us, and then it's uploaded to Legistar. So, and actually, I think what we ended up doing with that is we trained the city clerk on how to do that, and so that they're able to upload it to Legistar. So
okay. Do we want to add any kind of language about like where reasonably practicable? So, like if they're meeting off-site, if they're not in one of these conference rooms, if they're in a community meeting somewhere, do we want to give them a little bit more flexibility? Or it seems like everybody's got a cell phone these days, so like somebody should be able, wherever they are, to handle this. But do we have any feelings about that?
Chair.
Yes.
So I would, if we could just have that information, like if Cheryl, if you could go through here and see, you know, who does have the ability, who does not, let us know that. And then if they don't, then yeah, I mean, surely somebody can record it in some way, right? But do we want it on a cell phone? You know, somebody recording it, just, I don't know that would be, I mean, I guess we could just use the sound from it if we have that, because shaky video, I don't know about uploading that, but you know, if we could just know which ones do not have the ability to videotape, and then we could go from there on that part. But if they have the ability and they're meeting somewhere with the ability, I think that's, like I said, not live broadcast, but recording it should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. And, you know, once they expand the AV capabilities, what they did down in Strother, and they're going to be doing that in Howard, you know, in the other conference rooms. So, you know, that'll room.
capable of
but it's a
doing
lot
that.
nicer
So,
with the new equipment.
so we know that parks can do it. We know that anyone who's in the Strother conference room can do it.
Right.
These other ones, Board of Aeronautics Commission, License Tax Review, Public Safety Advisory Board, Water Utilities Board, Board of Appeals, LCRA, zoning adjustments. Do we want to
Well, we
go to
know
them
that
for
zoning
more?
adjustments can record because they're a video conference, so we know that can be recorded, right?
Yeah, at least all the meetings of theirs that I saw online, it looked like they were all done by Zoom. So
Yeah.
we can say yes on that.
So
I guess same
that
thing on
one
Board of
is-
Appeals.
Yeah. And then the Justice Center, that's in the police department, right?
I'm
Yeah.
assuming so.
Probably.
I think, you know, they just went through an upgrade of that and they're going through another one. So if they don't have it, they surely should be able to have it soon, right? But if we could just find that information, that would be great. And then the committee room, that's back behind chambers, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so we know that one's wired up for video as well.
Not anymore.
No.
Oh, it's not?
Could that meeting move to the Strother conference room, or is there a reason why it would need to not be? And do we feel like it needs to be broadcast? Like I was reading that and it looks like it's a biannual review mainly by staff, or did I miss that?
Which one are you guys on?
Oh, sorry.
License tax review.
License tax review.
License tax
commission.
review is an yearly meeting. It meets once a year. And I believe it's either in Strother or Howard. Cheryl, you probably know.
I do not, but if that's, if we could just have them down to meet in Strother, then that solves the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just say yes, and then they need to move to Strother maybe.
Okay.
But they're already in the city hall, so it shouldn't be a
Right.
big issue. Okay. BOAC, they are currently at City Hall, but they're going to start meeting at Hangar 2 when that's constructed. Will that have those facilities, or do we need to check on that, what they can do?
You know, we have to check on that on Hangar, I would imagine they could.
And then water utilities, you said maybe they have an area they can do it, but we need to check. Okay.
Okay. And then LCRA, that's in City Hall. I feel like that should be recorded. Like that has to do with tax incentives. So
Yep.
I think if they need to move rooms, unless anyone objects, like I think that should be something that gets recorded.
I agree.
Okay, so we're saying, as far as the ones that are not live broadcast, that we definitely want recordings of everything, except we're going to find out more information about Board of Aeronautics Commissioners, Public Safety Advisory Board, and Water Utilities Board, just to find out what's feasible for those entities.
Right.
Does that sound acceptable to everyone?
Chair.
Yes.
One of the things I think we probably need to do, a couple of things, take this in two pieces. I think probably Cheryl and I need to have a discussion with management team and find out if there are factors that we are not aware of, if none of us here are aware of. So we can do that certainly prior to the next meeting. And then we can come back to you if we've run into any particular roadblocks or any concerns or anything like that. And so that you all know from a practical standpoint, the people that are in these meetings every month, you know, what kind of limitations they see or what concerns they have. There may not be any, I don't know, but we also haven't had that conversation with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Second item is I would kind of like to restructure this resolution a little bit in order to better reflect the technology that we're talking about, because right now we talk about we are going to broadcast utilizing television and city website. And I think what we have to say is that we either are going to broadcast and stream live. That's one category. The other category is recording for later replay via the city website and other outlets or something like that. And then we can sort them into those two categories into that ordinance, because I think the way we have it right now doesn't really reflect the fact that we're streaming a lot of stuff now and not using the TV stuff so much.
Yeah, I agree.
And oh, sorry, go ahead, Councilmember Carlisle.
No, I'm saying I agree completely. Yeah, just, I mean, revamp the whole thing to make it what we really do. And then just come back with the more info needed, and we can have this discussion again next time.
And broaden up that language as much as you want to, because we don't know what the technology will look like a few years from now. Maybe but you know, some things will be available in real time, some things will be available as recordings later, however you want to phrase that. And then and I guess I'd say, like, go ahead and take this to management team and say, this is what the committee is thinking. What roadblocks do you see? If they say that these ones that we've said, yes, we want to have recordings, if they have real issues, not just with the technology, but if other logistical reasons, let us know and we can discuss that before we make our recommendations to the full council. So we'll plan to bring this back at the next meeting with some more information and go from there.
Sounds good to me.
Anyone else have any thoughts they want to offer before we wrap up discussion of the televising issue? Okay. Next item on our agenda is roundtable. Do we have any roundtable from the committee? Any roundtable from staff? All right. Well, then we will adjourn this meeting at 12:13 p.m. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Hey, everybody.
All right, sorry for